IB24.
Good morning, Canada. This is your trusted news anchor, Sam.
And Pat.
In today's headlines, we have Mr. Mayor reading us the first story.
Mayor Doug Ford has made a few changes that have come under the bill called Making Ontario Open for Business. These changes are focused on non-unionized workers and businesses hiring them. One of the changes are there will be a freeze to the minimum wage increase, and supposed $1 increase is now going to be cancelled. Another change is the workers will not be getting the 2 paid work sickness days, and also following up with not getting to refuse unscheduled work days. All these changes are being made for the equal fairness towards business owners, especially the small ones.
In my opinion, why I chose to highlight this article in the newscast is because it really connects to international business in a broadened way. What I mean by this is that these changes are less bigger businesses will move on to their manufacturing warehouses to cheaper areas, since making it in Canada will get it cheaper, and these changes and cuts Premier Doug Ford will make. With this being a plus for businesses, it will be a negative for workers in Canada, with limited freedom in the workplace and less money, which is overall led in a fall to the GDP, with lesser money made and more money saving happening.
On to the next headline. Canada Post is one of the largest couriers within Canada, responsible for 2/3 of parcels received by general public. Due to Canada's Post rotating strikes throughout the country, it is causing small and medium-sized businesses possibly reduced income due to slower shipments and longer wait times. This is all caused by Canada Post being a monopoly and adjusting to the political and cultural norms of today's economy. Due to the possible stoppage of shipments, Canadians will be looking towards international businesses that rely on other couriers to receive their packages in a timely manner.
In my opinion, this greatly fits to international business, since these strikes is affecting not only Canadian businesses but also international businesses too. With longer wait times and limited parcel shipping companies, it is very challenging for all businesses to sell and ship in Canada when having Canada Post as a monopoly. With the monopoly factor, it gets very expensive for shippers to ship things, since Canada Post will take a cut from the profits from other parcel companies. Due to these reasons, I have chosen this article to be my second news article in the newscast.
Thanks for your insight, Pat.
My pleasure, Sam.
Now we go on to Johnny Unitas with the breaking headline, our live reporter.
This is Johnny Unitas with breaking news. 4 years ago, a factory in Bangladesh that made clothing collapsed, killing more than 1,100 people, including workers, because of the structural problems that the building had. And because of that, Bangladesh garment workers suffer from poor conditions. 2 years after the factory collapsed, after this incident and another similar incident called the Rana Plaza tragedy, inspectors have been inspecting factories more and trying
On to the next headline.
Right now, there are some robots, not too many, being used to manufacture things in businesses. But as technology advances and companies and businesses are making much more money, there will be a lot of robots manufacturing things for these businesses, which is beneficial for them and their business, but is not beneficial for employees.
Thank you, Johnny Unitas, for the excellent report.
On to the next reporter, Janet Chandan III.
Hi, my name is Arshdeep, and I'll be covering the topics of border security and business errors. So firstly, I'll be talking about Trump's tariff threats in order to get Mexico to pay for the wall. So Trump plans to tax goods coming from Mexico by 5% until the country controls the number of migrants trying to cross the U.S.-Mexican border. American companies and consumers are likely to suffer, as this decision is likely to negatively affect the stock market. And Trump also wants Mexico to build a wall amongst its own southern border to limit the amount of illegal immigrants coming from Guatemala and Belize. He wants them to meet his demands as soon as possible in order to lift the taxation of goods crossing the US-Mexican border. Now I'll be talking about the critical errors Toys R Us made, which caused them to shut down. So in 2017, Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy. Many thought that they would survive through it. However, it's clear now that they didn't, as they've shut down almost all their locations in America. And a few reasons as to why they couldn't strike through this event include that the company's debts were too much to bear. As they were approaching bankruptcy, they still had about $5 billion in liabilities. Another reason is due to them filing for bankruptcy in September instead of shortly after the shopping season where they could have made more profit. Also, Toys R Us competitors such as Walmart, Amazon, and Target started to give out discounts on their toys as Toys R Us was approaching bankruptcy. So this caused a lot of customers to turn away from Toys R Us and instead go to their competitors. Now I'll be talking about my opinions on these two events. So firstly, my opinion on Trump threatening Mexico with tariffs in order for them to pay for the wall is that it's foolish. This is due to the fact that if Trump does tax goods coming from Mexico, it will not only hurt Mexican consumers and businesses, but also hurt Americans. Also, the idea to build a wall across the US-Mexican border is a waste of money, as people will always find ways to get what they want. And instead, the resources to build a wall could be used for something more beneficial. My opinion on Toys R Us failing to get past bankruptcy is that it's their own fault. They made many mistakes that a major corporation such as theirs shouldn't have made. This includes filing for bankruptcy after a major holiday and not during it so that they could have made more profit, and allowing their company to accumulate mass debts over time without having a solid plan of action to combat their problems.
Thank you, Janet the Chandan III. On to the next report by Sam.
Thank you, Pat. So today, breaking headlines. Thank you. Donald Trump has finally set a 25% tax on steel. This would mean it would leave a huge impact on Canada, Brazil, and South Korea, and China. This tariff is planned to attack China for selling cheap steel and aluminum into the United States and make American companies suffer through China's cheap prices. Donald Trump is doing this to make sure that American companies choose United States steel and aluminum to attract more buyers. Other countries that are impacted by this tariff are likely to strike back at Donald Trump by making their own tariffs on imports from America. This will cause a global trade war to easily unfold. The learning strand that relates to this article is business, trade, and economy. It shows how Donald Trump is acting towards his fellow trade partners such as Canada, South Korea, and China. In my opinion, Donald Trump believes America comes first. By eliminating foreign competition, American businesses can grow. He places tariffs on foreign goods to decrease a trade deficit and increase profits for American businesses. By putting a tariff on these foreign competition, American businesses can grow. Since everyone relies heavily on the American consumer market, since it's the largest consumer market in the world, resulting in foreign businesses to come and sell their product, by eliminating foreign businesses, American businesses can grow. On to the next news. Comcast is on its way to becoming the world's most in-depth company if it purchases Fox. Comcast is in a bidding war with Disney to purchase Fox. Comcast has only $6 billion in cash, meaning they have to borrow $59 million to fulfill the $65 billion bid for Fox. If Comcast successfully, it will take on Fox's $20 billion debt. Furthermore, Comcast believes by purchasing Fox, it can be a great asset to adapt to an industry dominated by Netflix. Lastly, Comcast is positive that it can increase cash flow to pay down the debt over the coming years. This relates to the learning strand of market challenges and approaches. What Comcast is doing is trying to compete with Netflix. By acquiring Fox, it could double down on its power of becoming more powerful than Netflix. This also is a smart move by Comcast because they want to have a majority of the competition with themselves so they can control the market. In my opinion, Comcast is trying to merge with Fox to have total market power in this concentrated industry, and also is trying to distinguish their product from competitors such as Disney or Netflix. This is Sam and Pat, and we always got the scoop. Thank you for enjoying our show. Good afternoon, Canada!